Hey guys, today is the 8th of December 2019 at 2 minutes past 12 in the morning over here in the UK. It's still the 7th of December for some of you guys. Here on the eyebrow, there's a possible 12 and a 7 going backwards, and on the other eyebrow, possible representation of Donald Trump lying on his back. That's his hair, the tie, chest, leg upwards, arm upwards. So looking out for that sort of event, potential shooting. At the moment, Donald Trump is over in Florida. I suspected he would go there due to the naval shooting that took place yesterday, or the day before yesterday for me, and yesterday for you guys. I think he didn't go to the actual naval base, but right now he should be delivering remarks at the Republican Party of Florida 2019 Statesman's Dinner, and he'll be doing that until 7:35 p.m. Eastern, which is in about half an hour when he departs en route to Hollywood, Florida. So he's going to be staying in the Florida region. Obviously, the interpretation from yesterday, has a watch on potential events taking place while he's in Florida, potential shooting, potential missile launch, potentially things unfolding over here in the UK, even though it is now the 8th over here in the UK. But I'm going to get to that in just a second, because I do believe that there's another potential interpretation for all of this. Now, in relation to the statesman thing that he's doing with the Republicans, that linked me to the Kingsmen movie, in which the second episode, I think it was the second reiteration of the film, the Secret Service, I believe they have a reference to the statesman in that film. And the Kingsman was obviously one of the movies from which a scene was used with Donald Trump's head on one of the main characters doing the shooting in the church, killing all of his enemies like CNN and Hillary Clinton and things like that. But obviously we're looking out for a shooting with Donald Trump. He's at this statesman thing in Florida, where we have a connection to the Kingsman thing, which is connected to shooting. So it may be relevant, which is why I'm obviously telling you about it now. Now, in relation to the UK and December the 8th, so potentially while things are going on in the United States, if things unfold over there, we've got the Apple scene here, and see if I just go back a little bit more. Sorry, turn it down. So I've talked about before how the 8 forms in the middle. Now obviously there's many different interpretations. One of them I talked about yesterday, which was L for 12 and then 7 the other way, so December 7th. And then you could have an L for 12 and then the 8 in the middle here, which gives us a reference to December 8th. You don't even have to include this one. This can be December 7th on its own. And then you've got 1, 2 in terms of 1 seed and 2 seeds, giving us the 12, and then the 8 in the middle, blooming, which we have talked about in terms of some sort of eruption, explosion, something like that. And we've obviously connected it with New York, Hawaii, volcanoes and stuff like that. But the other thing is, the apple itself, the fruit, was brought to the United States from England. So this could be another representation of England, something unfolding over here with explosions. Obviously we've got the pound coin down here where a chunk of it is missing. Now, today, I was just watching the last bit of the news with my grandparents, and I caught this thing that they were covering, the world's big sleep out, which is basically bringing awareness to global homelessness. At least that's what it's being marketed as. This is taking place today, started at 7 p.m. So obviously it's going to be overnight through the 8th over here in the UK. And I'm just having this feeling of potentially having to be outside for some reason. And in my mind, I instantly connected it to the Pet Goat 2 scene where the house is on fire. And when I thought, okay, if you've got a mass of people in the UK sleeping outside where they don't normally, and celebrities are getting involved, people like Helen Mirren and stuff like that as well, so bringing real big attention to it. Sleep outside tonight basically is the message. And then I'm thinking, what could potentially cause the house is a representation of a house, but it could be a representation of many houses, in terms of many houses catching on fire. And I remember a report from the United States about gas lines catching on fire in the United States and setting homes on fire. I think that was last year. So I'm putting out this warning for tonight, potentially, some gas lines potentially catching fire and causing a lot of houses to go up in flames in the UK. I know it's a dreadful thought, but this is the analysis that I'm getting and the thoughts that I had when I'm seeing this, sleep outside message. And then what could potentially happen if everyone's sleeping outside. And this is one of the things that came to my mind. So, Florida, Donald Trump shooting a missile launch of some kind involving a submarine potentially. House fire, we've got the shark house, we've got many different representations, but also the interpretation I'm putting out now is potentially gas lines catching fire. Whether that's, well, obviously it will be done on purpose if it's something you can interpret from this video, and that being a possible event that kicks off more events. And obviously, you guys, I don't know if I'm going to bother bringing it up. Let me see. With the Google Doodle explanation or interpretation that I did a little while back, this one here, I talked about the building, representing Buckingham Palace, the Parliament building, potentially having this like nuclear detonation or biological or chemical detonation somewhere in London. And then you've got all these like puffs of smoke. They are trees when they're the right way around, but upside down they resemble puffs of smoke coming up out of London with a toxic sky. And that may be potentially related to gas line explosions around the country, or more likely around London. So that's my warning, just pointing out there. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.